All right. So I was watching a video from The Hill, and not Rising, but yeah, just The Hill. They're talking about what is in the $1.2 trillion COVID relief bill. Talking about things like the $30 million for subway systems, to recover their losses, earn tax credit, and other such things. The thing is, what people don't mention is what I imagine is still the same, is that a lot of this stuff runs out in about 6 months, and until it goes before Congress once again. It's in September. Now, kind of like I was saying that, kicking the can down the road. This is kicking the can down the road because it's like, well, you know, 6 months is going to go by, and maybe more people are, vaccinated, this and that, for COVID, and they say, I don't think people need that money. I don't think those folks need it. So, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to go ahead and cut that out. And that's the danger of social democracy. Is it's just enough for now. That's the whole problem to me. It provides just enough to keep people happy. And just enough continues to grow. But there is a point where capitalists and the politicians that are their puppets realize it's like, this just enough stuff is kind of expensive. This just enough stuff is just expensive. So we're going to go ahead and, just say, screw that. And to me, this is the problem with just enough. And this, well, let's keep the ball rolling. It's kind of like, building a house or something like that. Where it's like, yeah, it's built. Yay. And, they build a framework, or people fight for whatever it is in Congress and say, yeah, we need this tax credit or something else like that. Or we need, money for this museum or something like that. Who knows, right? And it may be safe, but then it may go up for a budget, and people use that as a political football to use to then, get rid of your, to stop paying for your museum, this and that. This is the same difference. This is the same type of thing with rural hospitals versus, corporate owned hospitals, right? These rural owned hospitals may get some subsidies, maybe from the state through federal money, whereas the corporate hospitals, they rely on, federal funding, but not in the same way as the other ones do. So that's one of the interesting. Well, it's not interesting. It just shows how the system works, and that I know people are going to tell me, yeah, that's just how budgets work. These are just how budgets work. Is it? Things have to be, delegate. Compromised and everything else, so that we can cut. So that we can pay for all the essentials and cut out the fluff, right? Supposedly, of course, there's plenty of pork barrel spending that goes on in Congress. We know that, but the thing is that this is the danger of social democracy, of it being enough. And it's the same type of thing with Nazism, where, and it wasn't even necessarily enough, but it was seen as enough at the time, where, yeah, healthcare was provided, this and that, but ultimately that was stuff that was left over from the Weimar era. They adapted some things here and there, but overall it was something that they just kept it up to keep just enough happy, It's like with Robert Lay, promising to deliver the Volkswagen, the Volkswagen Beetle, to all the families. It never happened because the war happened and people like Robert Lay were hugely corrupt. I believe Robert Lay committed suicide at the end of the war. So, I mean, it has to be put into perspective about the promises that occur and the constant fighting that happens. And people get tired. These advocates, I imagine, get tired because every time the budget comes up or every time, the Congress meets to talk about, the budgetary concerns for the country, a lot of the times, admittedly, it is a Republican that's going to hold the Congress hostage or whatever silly thing that they're on about. And then you have a government shutdown. We've had several government shutdowns. And hell, with all this stuff going on, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another government shutdown that happens in September. Now, I can't guarantee that. I don't have a crystal ball, but it's just an assumption. But I do think that is where we are headed. Just another shutdown, another, another fight to get stuff done, and it gets tiring, I imagine. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Hopefully you enjoy that. See you later, and goodbye.